Got it.
He said, face it.
Oh, yeah.
Not face it.
I did. Take care of it. You pronounce it Andre Makovic. Of course. He does. Yeah, no worries. Message from the House Supervisor, yeah. So,
Brother,
Morning, how are you, sir?
let's get it. Ooh.
No committee reports on sessions consent.
I'm sorry.
The Senate will come to order. Mr. Schaffler, please call the roll.
Senators Amabile, Baisley, Ball, Benavidez, Bridges, Bright, Carson, Catlin, Cutter, Danielson,
Excuse.
Doherty, Exum, Frizzell, Gonzalez, Hendrickson, Judah, Kipp, Kirkmeyer, Colker, Lindstedt, Liston, Marchman, Mullica, Pelton B, Pelton B, Pelton R, Rich, Roberts, Rodriguez, Simpson, Snyder, Sullivan, Wallace, Weissman, Zamora Wilson. Mr. President.
Let's do this. The morning roll calls 34 present, 0 absent, 1 excused. We have a quorum. Senator Kirkmeyer, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Would everyone please stand? Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I said, please, of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the journal. Senator Lindstedt.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate Journal of Tuesday, April 28, 2026 be approved as corrected by the Secretary.
You heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Wow. Opposed, no. Man, what's going on? All right. Well, the ayes have it, and that motion is adopted. Senate Services.
Correctly printed, Senate Bill 182, correctly engrossed, Senate Bill 17, 23, 45, 91, 93, 114, 146, 154, 155, 156, 157, and 162. Correctly re-engrossed, Senate Bill 131, 142, and 166. Correctly re-revised, House Bill 1019.
Committee reports.
Committee on Finance, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. Senate Bill 164 be postponed indefinitely. After consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1346 be amended as follows, and if so amended, be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. House Bill 1338 be referred favorably to the Committee on Appropriations. Senate Bill 161 be postponed indefinitely. Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1252 be amended as follows, and if so amended, be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. Committee on Business, Labor, and Technology, after consideration on the merits, the committee recommends the following. House Bill 1010 be amended as follows, and if so amended, be referred to the committee of the whole with favorable recommendation. House Bill 1207 be amended as follows, and if so amended, be referred to the committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation.
Message from the House.
The House is adopted and returns herewith. Senate Joint Resolution 21. The House is passed on third reading and returns herewith. Senate Bill 137. The House is passed on third reading and transmitted to the Revisor of Statutes. House Bill 1341. House is passed on third reading and transmitted to the Revisor of Statutes. House Bill 1306. House Bill 1315. House Bill 1206. Senate Bill 92 and House Bill 1236 amended as printed in the House Journal April 27, 2026. House is passed on third reading and transmitted to the Revisor of Statutes. House Bill 1256 amended as printed in House Journal April 27, 2026 and amended on third reading as printed in House Journal April 28, 2026. House is adopted on first report of the First Conference Committee on House Bill 1380, House Bill 1399, House Bill 1405, House Bill 1409, House Bill 1412, House Bill 1357, House Bill 1410, and House Bill 1411 as printed in House Journal April 28, 2026, and has repassed the bills as amended. The House has postponed indefinitely Senate Bill 90. The bill is returned herewith.
Message from the Revisor.
We herewith transmit without comment House Bill 1341 without comment as amended, House Bill 1206, 1236, 1256, 1306, and 1315 without comment as amended, Senate Bill 92.
Madam Majority Leader, or Madam, or Mr. I didn't know if you were just, giving her a chance to be able to work the floor. Mr. Majority Leader. I feel better now.
Thank you,
Your Honor, Your High Holiness, Mr. President. While this is an unnormal occurrence, I move that we proceed out of order for moments of personal privilege, not for the President.
You've heard the motion to proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege, not for the president, whoever that person is. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Why is it so loud when you said that this time? Opposed, no? What? Senator will proceed out of order for moments of personal privilege. Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I request a moment of personal privilege. I think my first moment of personal privilege, perhaps, which I've saved for something special. Today, this is a little bit unusual. Members, we're proceeding out of order so that I can introduce Josh Stewart, a father here in our chamber, who is here today because when we begin third reading of bills, I will be offering a third reading amendment to name the traffic safety bill for Josh's son, Liam. So Josh has advocated for something to help other families and other children in the wake of his tragedy of losing his son in a traffic accident near a school. So I'm really proud to be a sponsor of the bill and to be able to rename it, but that's why we're doing this now, so he didn't have to wait for all of third reading. But thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for all of your advocacy. We're happy to support you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, and thank you for joining us here in the Senate. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we proceed out of order for third reading of bills, final passage.
You heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will proceed out of order for third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. At the request of a member, Senate Bill 156 will be removed from the consent calendar and placed at the bottom of the third reading of bills calendar.
Senate Bill 156,
Senate Bill 156
will be removed from the consent calendar and placed at the bottom of the third reading of bills, final passage calendar. Third reading of bills, final passage. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate proceed out of order, take up House Bill 1318.
The motion to proceed out of order to take up House Bill 1318. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and we'll proceed out of order to take up House Bill 1318. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of House Bill 1318.
House Bill 1318 by Representatives Wynn and Froelich and Senator Cutter concerning traffic safety near schools.
Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 1318 on third reading and final passage and request permission to offer a third reading amendment.
Please tell us why you request permission.
Thank you, Mr. President. I explained before, this is going to be named after Josh Stewart's son, called the Liam Stewart School Zone Act. And I'm sure I can count on all of your support.
Members, the motion is to allow a third reading amendment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it, and that motion is adopted. There is an amendment at the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L007 and House Bill 1318.
Amendment L007, amend revised bill, page 2, after line 1, insert section 1, short title. The short title of this act is the Liam Stewart School Zone Act. Renumber succeeding sections accordingly.
Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move amendment L007 and
Further
request an
discussion?
aye vote.
Very good. Seeing no further discussion on L007, the motion is the adoption of L007. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, L007 is adopted. Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move House Bill 261318 on third reading and final passage.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of House Bill 1318 as amended. Are there any no votes? Senator Zamora Wilson. With a vote of 33 ayes, 1 no, 0 absent, and 1 excused, House Bill 1318 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Kipp, Mr. Majority Leader, Marchman, Wallace, Benavidez, Judah, Gonzalez, Amabile, Mr. Minority Leader, Kirkmeyer, Frizzell, Doherty, Weissman, Liston, Snyder, Pelton R., Henriksen, Catlin, Ball, Roberts, Sullivan, Carson, Lindstedt, Mullica, Bridges, Exum, Colker. Please add the president. Members, we'll take a brief Senatorial 5 to recess to meet our guests. All right, members, back on third reading of the bill's final passage. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 134.
Senate Bill 134 by Senators Lindstedt and Judah and Representatives Duran and McCluskey concerning the imposition of fees by payment card networks.
Senator Lindstedt.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 134 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 134. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Minority Leader Frizzell, Kirkmeyer, Zamora Wilson, Rich, Benavidez, Kip, Baisley, Colker, Liston, Pelton B, Pelton R, Bright, Catlin, Carson, Henriksen, with a vote of 18 ayes, 16 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 134 is passed. Co-sponsors. The good news is Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move to lay over Senate Bill 17 until Thursday, April the 30th.
The motion is laid over Senate Bill 17 Thursday, April the 30th. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senate Bill 17 will be laid over until Thursday, April the 30th. Mr. Schauffele, please read the title of Senate Bill 45.
Senate Bill 45 by Senators Liston and Mullica and Representatives Pascal and Winter T. concerning promoting workforce development opportunities in Colorado's nuclear sector.
Senator Liston.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 45 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 45. Are there any no votes? Senators Zamora Wilson, Baisley, Weissman, Cutter. With a vote of 30 ayes, 4 no, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 45 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Marchman, Ball, Roberts, Exum, Pelton B, Pelton R, Mr. Minority Leader, Judah, Kirkmeyer. Please add the president. Mr. Schauffele, please read the title of Senate Bill 91.
Senate Bill 91 by Senators Snyder and Cutter and Representative Soper concerning adding the exclusion of certain printed news deliverers from the definition of employee in the Colorado Employment Security Act to other state labor laws.
Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 26091 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 91. Are there any no votes? Senators Wallace, Kipp, Sullivan, Ball, Weissman, Henriksen, Gonzalez, Bridges. Further no votes on 91. With a vote of 26 ayes, 8 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 91 is passed. Co-sponsors. Mr. Schauffele, please read the title of Senate Bill 114.
Senate Bill 114 by Senators Marchman and Bright and Representatives Titone and Soper concerning a spirituous liquor manufacturer's sales rooms.
Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 114 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion. Seeing no further discussion, the motion is to pass Senate Bill 114. Are there any no votes? Senators Ball, Amabile, Mr. Majority Leader, no votes on 114. With a vote of 31 ayes, 3 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 114 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators Henriksen, Bridges, Mr. Schauffele, please read the title of Senate Bill 162.
Senate Bill 162 by Senators Frizzell and Mullica and Representatives Hartsook and Hamrick concerning releasing healthcare test results to patients.
Senator Frizzell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 26162 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion? There is discussion. Senator Weissman.
Thanks, Mr. President. Members, I was, I think, the only no vote on this bill in committee. I'm going to maintain that position here. I wanted to say why, given the sensitivity of the issue. Our colleague from Castle Rock has been very courageously public about what she's been dealing with here and shared more details of that in committee, and we have a bill born out of that kind of experience. I share the concerns about what happens when people try to get medical advice from Dr. Google or Dr. Chat GPT or any of the latter-day nonsense. Really, the reason for my no vote is that as this kind of experience of getting this kind of test result has been personal for our colleague. It's been personal in my family as well, even learning in the first instance through the portal, and then needing to kind of go from there and figure out course of treatment and metabolize the shock. For me, it's just a deeply seated belief that we're talking about test data that inheres in the individual and the patient in the first instance, and wanting that person to continue to have the prerogative to seed immediately or choose not to. But I do want to acknowledge Bill's coming from a very earnest place. Thanks.
Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 162. Are there any no votes?
Thank you.
Senators Zamora Wilson, Baisley, Weissman, Henriksen, Kipp. With a vote of 29 ayes, 5 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 162 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators, Mr. Minority Leader, Pelton B., Kirkmeyer, Rich, Benavidez, Roberts, Bright, Amabile, Snyder, Exum. Further co-sponsors on 162. Oh yeah, please add the president. Kind of got distracted. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 23.
Senate Bill 23 by Senators Colker and Kirkmeyer and Representatives Sirota and Lukens concerning the financing of public schools and in connection therewith making and reducing an appropriation.
Senator Colker.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 23 on third reading.
Further discussion? There is further discussion. Senator Colker.
Thank you. I just have a few comments on the School Finance Act this year. Not everyone was here yesterday. We all know the situation that we're in with schools, K-12, the adequacy studies that were done that show schools are underfunded, 3.5 to 4.1 billion every single year. I just want to make sure that everyone hears my acknowledgement to what the JBC did this year in prioritizing education, prioritizing the making sure that we weren't cutting based on the current formula. We've heard so many challenges to education, so many challenges to our budget. I just want to say that the work that we did this year was about making sure that we can afford to invest in education. It is about strong public schools and the foundation of a strong economy, a prepared workforce, and a functioning democracy. The silver lining this year in the School Finance Act is that we have made a deliberate choice to prioritize students and educators. That matters. It reflects a commitment to transparency, accountability, and following through on what we told voters we would do. Today's vote is not the end of the work, but is a meaningful step forward. We are keeping our promise and we're setting the stage to finish the job. Thank you, and I encourage an aye vote.
Senator Kirkmeyer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too encourage an aye vote on the School Finance Act. This is probably the second most important bill that we passed down here, right after the long bill in the budget. So it is a clean bill. There were promises made over the course of the last couple of years in changing the finance formula. We kept those promises. Promises made, promises kept. That's what we said about this bill. So the formula is the same. You know, every year sitting on the Joint Budget Committee, I hear about how we're going to make cuts to K-12 education. I will tell you for the last 4 years, I have fought diligently along with my co-prime here to ensure that we do not cut funding to education. And as we even went into this school finance bill and this year, there were rumblings that we were going to cut funding to education. Well, no, we did not. We kept our word. We kept our funding. In fact, over the course of the last 4 years, as a state senator, sitting on the education a couple of years with the good senator from Centennial, We have prioritized education and made sure that we are meeting our constitutional requirement to not only fund a free public school system in our state that is fair, uniform, and consistent throughout the state, but also our other constitutional mandate that requires we increase our funding for the total program by inflation and for categoricals by inflation. So we have, as a body, over the course of the last couple of years, eliminated the budget stabilization factor. If there was ever a factor named appropriately, it is the BS factor. We have voted for an increased funding in special education funding by hundreds of millions of dollars for those children that have special needs and needs more resources. We have done that. We have created the Kids Matter Fund, thank you, last year. It was a great thing to do. Basically earmarking in our statutes, the same as the earmark in the Constitution, that we will fund 0.00065% of 1% into education. So to change that, we would have to make a change in statute. So we earmarked it in statute. That amount equaled about $220 million just this year. Things that we have done to prioritize education and ensure that we fund it have equaled about $1.3 billion annually going towards education in an increase in what we did just 4 years ago. So $1.3 billion annually. This School Finance Act, again, brings certainty, reliability, and stability so that school districts know what they can count on and that our students and parents know what they can count on from this legislature. Thank you, and I ask for an aye vote.
There is further discussion. Senator Baisley.
Thank you, Mr. President. As always, as every year, I will be a yes vote on this bill for two reasons. One is we are constitutionally mandated to come up with a budget, pass a budget on K-12 education and funding. And second, we ought to be funding this. We ought to be funding our schools and funding them well. And because education costs, no matter how it's delivered, it costs. And I believe that $8,900 per pupil revenue is the minimum that we ought to be investing. I also want to say, as I have before, that our teachers ought to be paid more than what we're affording them right now. And I believe that we can accomplish that through simply a shift in priorities on what we spend with that per pupil revenue. Get it out of all of the peripheral things and more in the classroom and pay those teachers what they deserve as we expect them to be the professional deliverers of education that they are expected to deliver. But I do want to say that I believe we should, as a body, since we are the decision makers on the funding of the people's money to that big expenditure, the biggest expenditure outside of just the general funding of the state itself, that we ought to expect more from our education. It should not be an environment where parents are hesitant to send their children. We need to have a safe environment. And so we need to expect more out of them, and we need to expect also that our students emerge excited and prepared and ready to be self-sustaining adults. And so I'm in support of the bill. I will be a yes vote, but let's just do better in education. We need to be very proud of our schools and never be in fear of sending our children into our schools for safety and for other obvious reasons. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to rise in support, strong support of Senate Bill 23. I so appreciate our sponsors this year. This was such a different process. I will tell you that the School Finance Act going through Education Committee each and every year creates this stress bubble that goes like this until it finally is heard, and that did not happen this year. And it's because of the way that you carried and stewarded this bill. And for that, I just want to say thank you, and I will forgive you for not taking my amazing math amendment. You kept it clean, and for that, I thank you. So thanks for this. I do encourage us to move forward on school finance earlier. It is April 29th. We are finalizing this. It's headed that way, and school's out in no time. Budgets have already been made. Decisions have already been made. So thank you for getting a head start on it, but I hope we move it up sooner. Thank you for your work.
Further discussion? Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 23. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 23 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Amabile, Kip, Judah, Wallace, Cutter, Bridges, Gonzalez, Snyder, Weissman, Doherty, Frizzell, Ball, Marchman, Mr. Minority Leader, Exum, Mullica, Bright, Carson, Roberts, Peltonar, Catlin, Liston. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 93.
Senate Bill 93 by Senator Sullivan and Representative Morrow concerning ensuring compliance with workers' compensation insurance coverage requirements.
Senator Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 93 on third and final reading.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 93. Are there any no votes? Senators Amabile, Mr. Minority Leader, Frizzell, Zamora Wilson, Rich, Baisley, Kirkmeyer, Liston, Pelton R., Catlin, Carson, Bright, Pelton B., and Snyder. With a vote of 20 ayes, 14. Oh, please add Senator Bridges as a no vote on Senate Bill 93. With a vote of 19 ayes, 15 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 93 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senators Benavidez, Judah, Gonzalez, Kip, Wallace, Marchman, Cutter, Exum, Mullica. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 155.
Senate Bill 155 by Senators Mullica and Marchman and Representatives McCluskey and Brown concerning increasing the availability of homeowners insurance in the state.
Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 155 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion? There is discussion. Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'll just be brief, members. This bill was a lot of work. I yesterday gave credit and just want to make sure that they're in the chamber and they hear it, that we wouldn't be here right now without Senator Snyder and Senator Amabile, I think really starting the ball on this concept. And I think this year, getting across the finish line, I do think we're going to have a positive impact on our state and really start changing the direction of homeowners insurance in our state, making it more affordable. And so ask for a yes vote, and much thanks to the sponsors that have gotten this moving. So.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 155. Are there any no votes? Senators, Mr. Minority Leader, Rich, Zamora Wilson, Frizzell, Kirkmeyer, Pelton B., Bright, Catlin, Carson, Pelton R., Liston, Baisley, with a vote of 22 ayes, 12 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 155 is passed. Co-sponsors. Senators, co-sponsors for 155, Roberts, Amabile, Cutter, Kip, Exum, Snyder, Benavidez, Doherty. Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 146.
Senate Bill 146 by Senator Cutter and Representative Froelich concerning restricting the distribution of single-use food serviceware.
Senator Cutter.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move Senate Bill 146 on third reading and final passage.
Further discussion. Seeing none, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 146. Are there any aye votes? Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader. Senators Rich, Zamora Wilson, Frizzell, Kirkmeyer, Roberts, Mullica, Baisley, Pelton B, Liston, Bright, Pelton R, Carson, Catlin, with a vote of 20 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused. Senate Bill 146 is passed. No sponsors. Senators Kipp, Wallace, Judah, Gonzalez, Ball, Snyder. Yeah. Any other co-sponsors on 146? Please add the president. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of Senate Bill 156.
Senate Bill 156 by Senators Kipp and Carson, Representative Phillips and Gonzalez, concerning changes to the State Workforce Development Council's practices and in connection therewith reducing an appropriation.
Senator Carson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the adoption of Senate Bill 156 on third and final reading and ask for a favorable vote.
Further discussion? Seeing no, there is further discussion. Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I did pull this off of consent to share this really fascinating concept that is in this bill. I want to thank the sponsors in this chamber, the other chamber, and I actually want to give a shout out to the governor's office because there are parts of this that are part of an executive order that are really going to make big changes. So this bill did not come to education. I think it was heard in business, labor, and technology. But there's a phrase in here that I want to talk about. What this bill does is it's going to have the person in charge of workforce start taking care of out-of-school youth. And I wanted to tell you what out-of-school youth are. Out-of-school youth are young people who have left the system entirely. Researchers call them NEETs, so N-E-E-T, not in education, employment, or training. Right now, there are over 4 million of them in the US. About 1 in 10 young people between 16 and 24 are not a part of the system we support for K-12 or the system we support for post-secondary. In Colorado, 200 young adults age out of foster care every year. By age 19, 29% of them are in jail, 28% of them have had homelessness, and only 30% of them graduated from high school. So these aren't kids who took a gap year. These are young people that the system lost track of. So the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, which is a federal law that is cited in this bill, defines this population as ages 16 to 24, not in school, and meeting at least one additional criterion: a dropout, justice involved, homeless, in foster care, pregnant or parenting, living with a disability, or low income. Those are the humans that this bill is going to cover, and it's a lot of kids in Colorado. So I'm really excited about this bill. Thank you for bringing it. Thank you for letting me talk about it. I'm excited and hope you'll vote aye. Thank you.
Further discussion on 156. Senator Carson.
Thank you to the senator from Loveland for those comments. And I will mention real quickly that this bill actually saves a little money through its efficiency. So that's a good thing. Thank you.
Seeing no further discussion, the motion is the passage of Senate Bill 156. Are there any no votes? After all that amazing bipartisanship and positive, Senator Zamora Wilson. Senator Baisley, what's going on here? With a vote of 32 ayes, 2 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 156 is passed. Co-sponsors, Senator Marchman. 156. Exum. Please add the president. Mr. Majority Leader.
Senatorial 5.
Senatorial 5. Special orders, second reading of the bills, consent calendars. Mr. Majority Leader. Are we on that?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I know. I got you. Mr. Majority. He's still not ready. It is 10:17, 10:18.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate take up special order second reading of bills consent calendar, which includes Senate Bill 171, 173, House Bill 1290, 1052, 1214, 1260 at the hour of 10:53?
10:18.
10:18 a.m.
The motion is to take up those bills on special orders at the hour of 10:18 a.m. which requires 2/3 vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it, and that motion is adopted. Senate will take up those bills on special orders at the hour of 10:18 a.m. Special orders, second reading of the bills, Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders, second reading consent.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate resolve itself to the Committee of the Whole for consideration of special orders, second reading of bills, consent, and Senator Weissman will take the chair.
Let me know when we're ready down there. Ready. Committee will come to order. Court rules relaxed. Mr. Schauffele, please read the title of all the bills on the consent calendar.
Senate Bill 171 by Senators Cutter and Wallace concerning prohibiting the disposal of pre-production plastic materials at a location that does not have a certificate of designation to operate as a solid waste disposal site and facility. Senate Bill 173 by Senators Bridges and Bright and Representative Lukens and Gilchrist concerning exempting teacher training in certain fitness disciplines from regulation under the Private Occupational Education Act of 1981. House Bill 1290 by Representatives Hartsook and Duran and Senators Roberts and Frizzell concerning the criminal offense of assault and in connection therewith clarifying sentencing. House Bill 1052 by Representatives Woog and Stewart and Senator Carson concerning changes to the Victim Rights Act. House Bill 1214 by Representative Ryden and English and Jackson and Senator Amabile concerning the continuation of the Colorado Licensing of Controlled Substances Act and in connection therewith implementing the recommendations contained in the 2025 Sunset Report by the Department of Regulatory Agencies. House Bill 1260 by Representatives Garcia and Wilford and Senator Cutter and Bright concerning programs for child care assistance.
Thank you, Mr. Schauffele. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move for the passage of all the bills on special order second reading of bills consent calendar, which is Senate Bill 171, Senate Bill 173, House Bill 1290, 1052, House Bill 1214 and the Health and Human Services Report, and House Bill 1260 and the Health and Human Services Report.
All right, members, any discussion on any of the committee reports on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of the committee reports for all the bills on the consent calendar. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The meek ayes have it. The committee reports are adopted. Now, any discussion on the bills on the consent calendar? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of the bills on the consent calendar. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. The bills are adopted. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
The motion is to rise and report. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. We'll rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's met and has had a number of bills under consideration. Mr. Schauffele, please read the report.
April 29, 2026. Madam President, your Committee of the Whole begs leave to report it has had under consideration the following tax bills being the second reading thereof, makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 171, Senate Bill 173, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed in the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1290, House Bill 1052, House Bill 1214 as amended, House Bill 1260 as amended, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed in the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Weissman.
Thanks, Madam President. I move the Senate adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole.
The motion is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? Seeing none, with a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, and 1 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 26-171, Senate Bill 26-173, passed on second reading and ordered, engrossed, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. HB 26-1290, HB 26-1052, HB 26-1214 as amended, HB 26-1260 as amended, passed on second reading and ordered, revised, and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate take up special orders second reading of bills, which consist of House Bill 1313, 1283, Senate Bill 174, House Bill 1193, Senate Bill 170, House Bill 1242, and House Bill 1258 at the hour of 10:22 a.m.
The motion is that the Senate take up the bills that the Majority Leader listed on the hour of 10:22 a.m. This requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes definitely have it. The motion is adopted. The Senate will take up the bills the Majority Leader listed on special orders at the hour of 10:22. Second reading of bills. Senator Wiseman.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the Senate resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of special orders.
Okay. You have heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is adopted. The Senate will resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for the consideration of special orders, second reading of bill, and Senator Wiseman will take the chair.
Justin, we good? Good. Committee will come to order. Code rule is abolished. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to House Bill 1313.
House Bill 1313 by Representative Basnicker and Stewart R. and Senator Ball concerning the adjustment of requirements for governments to receive funding from the statewide Affordable Housing Fund.
Thank you. Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1313 and the associated Local Government and Housing Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In committee, we adopted two amendments. One removed the language around deed restrictions and replaced it with formal affordability restrictions to allow for more flexibility, and a second created a financing mechanism to create more flexibility year over year to access the Prop 123 funds. I ask for an aye vote on the committee reports.
All right, further discussion on the LGH committee report. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of that committee report. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. A couple of ayes have it. Committee report's adopted. To the bill, Senator. Looks like there is an amendment coming to the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L18 to House Bill 1313.
Amendment L18.
Senator Ball.
Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Amendment L018 to House Bill 1313.
To L18.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. L18 simply clarifies that local governments may enter into intergovernmental agreements to determine how many units are distributed to each local government's goals under Prop 123.
All right, further discussion to L18. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of L18 to House Bill 1313. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. L18 is adopted. We're back to the bill. There is another amendment coming to the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L19.
Amendment L19, amend re-engross bill page 3 after line 1, insert section 1 in Colorado Revised Statutes 29.
Senator Frizzell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Amendment L19 to House Bill 1313.
To L19.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, L19 is an amendment that makes a requirement for OEDIT and CHAFA to hold a stakeholder process to determine how to spend Prop 123 dollars across the programs in years where Prop 123 is not fully funded, like now.
Thank you. Further discussion on L19. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of L19 to House Bill 1313. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. L19 is adopted. Back to the bill. Senator Ball.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, Proposition 123 was approved by the voters and had optimistic targets that incentivize local governments to build affordable housing, to make them available for funding for more affordable housing. However, the requirements that were originally passed under the proposition have proven to be unworkable in current economic conditions. And so what this bill is really about is making adjustments to the underlying formula to ensure that local governments that are doing their best, trying to meet the intent and the requirements of Prop 123 aren't unfairly penalized by economic factors that are out of their control.
Senator Frizzell.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Members, I think it's really important to always tell you, I did not support Prop 123. I did not vote for Prop 123, but I believe in our shared responsibility to respect the wishes of our voters. They voted yes, even though I didn't. So this has been this was passed in 2022, Prop 123. And the framework was set up, the administration was set up, and it has, as my good co-prime sponsor has indicated, it has not proven to be tenable for local governments to actually be able to access these funds on a consistent basis. Some local governments have been able to cobble some things together. We have had a project in Lone Tree, just down south, north of my district. We've had a project even in Castle Rock that accessed these funds. But by and large, it has been very, very challenging for local governments to actually participate. And so I really feel that an adjustment to this is important. I'm confident that this bill better reflects real-world housing production and supports stronger regional collaboration and will expand the participation pathways for 123. I urge an aye vote.
Thank you. Further discussion on 1313? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of House Bill 1313. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. 1313 is adopted. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title of House Bill 1283.
House Bill 1283 by Representatives Ricks and Joseph and Senator Marchman concerning protections related to the confiscation of individuals' identification documents.
Senator Marchman. Senator Marchman.
Sorry. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1283 and the Judiciary Committee report.
To the committee report.
Great. In the committee, we clarified what an individual is to ensure that migrant and seasonal employees are included, and we'd ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Committee report is adopted. To the bill, Senator. Who'd like to go ahead? Senator Marchman.
Thank you. I move House Bill 1283 and ask for your aye vote.
Okay, is there any further discussion on House Bill 1283? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of House Bill 1283. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. 1283 is adopted. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to Senate Bill 174.
Senate Bill 174 by Senator Roberts and Representative Garcia and Carter and Soper concerning the prohibition of lead generation marketing for legal services.
Thank you, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 174 and the Judiciary Committee report.
To the committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the committee report, we made some amendments at the request of the Judicial Department to make sure we were not infringing on the ability for them to regulate the practice of legal services. I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Further discussion on the Judiciary Committee report? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of that committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. Committee report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, this is a bill about protecting consumers from deceptive advertisements and lead generation marketing that are not getting them the legal services that they're seeking out. I ask for an aye vote on this bill.
Thank you. Further discussion on SB 174. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of Senate Bill 174. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. 174 is adopted. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to House Bill 1193, which is by Senator Wallace, who should make her way toward the well.
House Bill 1193 by Representatives Martinez and Lindsay and Senator Wallace concerning vision tests for pre-kindergarten students.
Thank you. Senator Wallace.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1193.
Very good. To the bill.
Thank you. Members, here in Colorado, current law requires that school districts test the vision of students in kindergarten and then again in first, second, third, fifth, and seventh grade. This bill requires that school districts also test the vision of students in pre-kindergarten, as well as updating some outdated terminology, so replacing the word sight with vision. I received my first pair of glasses in elementary school after receiving a vision screening at school, so we know that programs and supports like these meet students where they already are and help catch vision problems early on. So ultimately, this is about being able to see better in classrooms so students can learn better, and I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion on House Bill 1193? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of House Bill 1193. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. 1193 is adopted. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to SB 170.
Senate Bill 170 by Senator Coleman and Representative Bacon concerning creating a task force to study how to expand access to effective public schools for Colorado students.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 170, the Education and the Appropriation Committee reports.
To the Education report.
The Education report, ultimately, we ran an amendment that swaps the appointments of the House Minority Leader and the President and added a minority report, and we asked for an aye vote.
All right, is there further discussion on the Education Committee report? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of that committee report. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. The Education Committee report is adopted. To the bill, there's an amendment at the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L4 to SB 170.
Amendment L4, amendment printed bill page 4. line
Mr.
27.
President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move L004.
To the amendment.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. L004 adds another seat to the task force for facility schools. This amendment was based on feedback we received from different partners. We ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Any further discussion on L4 to SB 170? Seeing none, the question is the adoption of L4. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. L4 is adopted. Back to the bill. There's another amendment coming to the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L5.
Amendment L5.
Mr. President.
Education.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move L005.
To L5.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a technical amendment that ensures the task force does not meet until after July 31st, 2026, and that the deadline to complete the report required under this section should be adjusted to 5 months between the first meeting of the task force and the report deadline, and I ask for an aye vote.
Very good. Further discussion on L5. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of L5. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. L5 is adopted. Back to the bill. One more amendment coming to the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L6 to SB 170.
Amendment L6, amendment printed bill
Mr.
page 3.
President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move L006.
To L6.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment tightens up the definition of opportunity gaps. This amendment was based on the feedback we received from CEA, AFT, CASB, CASE, League of Charter Schools, and more. We ask for an aye vote.
All right. Further discussion to L6. Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in support of L6. One of the things that we talked about a lot was what is the definition of an opportunity gap? And one of the things we noticed in committee was that the disability status was not included. And so this calls that out. And I just want to say a huge thank you to the sponsors for putting that in there. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion to L6. Seeing none, the question is the passage of L6 to SB 170. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. L6 is adopted. To the bill, this is L7. Mr. Schaffler, please read L7 to SB 170.
Amendment L7, amendment printed
Mr.
bill.
President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I move L007.
To L7.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This amendment strikes the ledge deck from the bill. This amendment was based on feedback we received, and we ask for an aye vote.
All right. Further discussion about L7. Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in support of L7. I had requested this, and I feel like this is really a good faith effort of the sponsors to follow through. And I don't know that we always need legislative declarations unless they do something statutory. So this strikes the legislative declaration, and I'd urge an aye vote on L007.
All right. Further discussion to L7. Seeing none, the question is the passage of L7 to Senate Bill 170. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. L7 is adopted. To the bill, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Once again, we move Senate Bill 170 as amended, ask for a favorable vote, and Michaela Parker is the greatest senior advisor of all time.
Thank you. Further discussion to SB 170. Seeing none, the question is the passage of Senate Bill 170. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. The very loud ayes have it. 170 is adopted. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to House Bill 1242.
House Bill 1242 by Representatives Pascal and Jackson and Senator Roberts concerning interlock restricted license requirements for impaired drivers and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Thank you, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1242.
To the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, pleased to be here with the good senator from Highlands Ranch to present House Bill 1242. What this bill is about is putting in more people's cars, one of the most effective ways of stopping drunk driving in our state. We know that drunk driving is a completely preventable crime, but occurs way too often on our roads. What this bill will do is make sure that a first-time offender of a DUI goes through the interlock process before they receive their license renewal again. This is a very reliable way that many other states have taken action on to ensure that after a first-time offense, folks still need to be able to drive, to get to work, to take care of their family, but they are often not being monitored and abiding by their license restrictions. Interlocks are a way to do that and make sure that sober driving is occurring. We also ensure that lower income individuals are going to be able to have financial assistance to get the interlocks with this new requirement, and this will help folks still be able to petition for an early release from the interlock program if they are performing well on their restrictions. So this, of course, is so important for road safety. It will prevent other people from driving drunk and means we're saving lives in Colorado. I would appreciate your support.
Thank you, Senator Carson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I first just want to thank the senator from Frisco for his leadership on this issue and all of the work he's put into this bill. I've asked to be added as a co-sponsor of it. I think it's a very important piece of legislation. It really just updates the technology we have out there. There's no reason to have this 2-month waiting period in place. One of the things that is really amazing about this, if you think about over 180,000 times since 2006, interlocks have blocked drunk driving attempts in Colorado. So think about that. All the people who might have been killed or seriously injured by people out there driving, 180,000 times these devices prevented folks from driving when they shouldn't have been driving. So I think this just updates the technology, and it's a good piece of legislation, and urge its support.
All right, further discussion on House Bill 1242. Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I rise in support of House Bill 1242. I do think this is so important. I ride up and down I-25 every day for hours and hours, and it's a dangerous place to be. And I do think people are probably engaging in drinking on the road, and so I'm glad that these are going to be able to get out. I rise because I'm confused from the department, and I just want to go on record about the financing of this bill. Earlier in Finance Committee, we heard a bill called House Bill 1102, and that was all intended to bring money into the Drives account, because the Drives account has had 26 bills since 2018, which has caused $3.4 million, or maybe that's 34, and 36.7 FTE. So my concern is that in the same breath, the department is saying, please fund this bill with this cash fund, and at the other hand saying, oh yeah, this cash fund is really struggling. And so I just want to put on record that we should really make sure that the Drives fund is shored up. There is a fund that is created just for interlock devices that I think would have been a good fit, but yeah, it's just more of a message to the department, and I urge strong support for House Bill 1242.
Thank you. Further discussion on House Bill 1242. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of House Bill 1242. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it, 1242 is adopted. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to House Bill 1258.
House Bill 1258 by Representative Soper and Titone and Senators Robertson, Pelton R. concerning death.
Quite a title, Mr. Schaffler. Thank you. Senator Pelton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1258.
And there are some
And the
committee reports.
business report and appropriations report.
Very good. To the BLT report. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the BLT committee, we made some changes regarding some definitions, including what arrangements mean and some other technical changes. I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Further discussion on the BLT committee report. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of the BLT committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. BLT committee report is adopted. To the appropriations report. Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In the Appropriations Committee, we removed the part of the bill that created a new Class 5 felony for abuse of a corpse. This was driving a fiscal impact, and that was the practical reason for removing it. However, we do believe, after consulting with district attorneys and other stakeholders, that even without this new crime, there are existing crimes to which we can use to hold bad actors accountable. And so I ask for an aye vote.
Thank you. Further discussion on the Approps Committee report. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of the Appropriations Committee report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. The Approps Committee report is adopted. To the bill, there's an amendment coming to the desk. Mr. Schaffler, please read L13 to House Bill 1258.
Amendment L13.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move L13.
To the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So this amendment just makes clear that contractors are allowed to be present in these licensed business settings so long as they have supervision of a licensee and that the dignity of the human remains are being respected. I ask for an aye vote.
Further discussion to L13. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of L13. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. The ayes have it. L13 is adopted. To the bill, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the good senator from Cheyenne Wells for his partnership on this. You all, if you've been here for a few years, know that the legislature has endeavored to put more oversight and not restrictions, but responsibility into the funeral industry so that we're protecting Coloradans and their loved ones after a loss. We've had some very unfortunate scandal, tragedy, and frankly, horrific crime happen at several funeral establishments across the state. A couple years ago, I, along with some colleagues, worked on a bill to finally establish licensing for funeral professionals and businesses in our state, allow the department to make inspections on those businesses the way they inspect other businesses. And that was a big change and effort. And that licensing will take effect at the beginning of this upcoming year, 2027. But as we rolled that out and the rulemaking happened, we realized that some more clarifications needed to be made in order to support the industry and make sure that things were practicable, as well as give the department the tools they needed to enforce the licensing requirements. So that's what the bill in front of you is. It does a variety of things. That's why it has a broad title, but all aimed at making sure that we're treating this situation with respect and making the professionals who work so hard to do this work have the dignity that they deserve as business owners as well, and root out the bad actors that we've had in our state.
Thank you. Senator Pelton.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I'd like to thank the good senator from Frisco for being on this bill. 2 years ago, the bill that was referenced kind of made it hard on some of the rural funeral directors that have multiple locations, some of them 70, 80, 100 miles apart, that made them have to have a licensed funeral director in every one of those satellites. So this is kind of cleaning up some of that to where it's not unfair burden and cost on some of these satellite offices, but they still will have professionals around. They just don't have to be that certified professional in those locations. This bill also has been unanimous all the way through the process in the House and the Senate. It's just there have been amendments needing to be put on. That's why it's not been on the consent calendar, but it's a good bill that is necessary, and I'd urge an aye vote.
Thank you. Further discussion on House Bill 1258. Seeing none, the question is the adoption of House Bill 1258. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. 1258 is adopted. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Members, the motion is to rise and report. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. We'll rise and report. All right.
Senate will come to order. Senator Wiseman.
Thank you, Mr. President. The committee's been meeting and has had a number of bills under consideration. Will Mr. Schaffler please read the report?
April 29, 2026. Mr. President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report has had under consideration the following tax bills being the second reading thereof and makes following recommendations thereon. Senate Bill 174 as amended, Senate Bill 170 as amended, passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1313 as amended, House Bill 1283 as amended, House Bill 1193, House Bill 1242, House Bill 1258 as amended, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage.
Senator Wiseman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate adopt the report of the Committee of the Whole.
The motion adopts the committee of the whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the committee of the whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 174 is amended, 170 is amended, passed second reading, order gross place counter for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1313 is amended, 1283 is amended, 1193, 1242, 1258 is amended, passed second reading, order revised place counter for third reading and final passage. Third reading of bills, consent calendar. Mr. Schaffler, please read the titles of all the bills on the consent calendar.
Senate Bill 154 by Senators Simpson and Mullica and Representative McCluskey and Caldwell concerning a modification to appointments to the Colorado Channel Authority Board and in connection therewith reducing an appropriation. Senate Bill 157 by Senator Pelton-R and Hendrickson and Representative Winter and Martinez concerning the abandonment of a town that has critical water infrastructure for the residents of the town and in connection therewith making an appropriation.
Majority Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate adopt all the bills on third reading of bills final passage consent calendar, which is Senate Bill 154 and Senate Bill 157.
Any discussion on any of the bills? Seeing the motions of passage of all the bills on third bills consent calendar, are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 154 is passed. Co-sponsors. With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, Senate Bill 157 is passed. Co-sponsors. Kipp, Senator Kipp, Senator Liston, Senator Marchman, Bridges, co-sponsors on 157. Catlin, Gonzalez, Carson, and please add the president. General order, second reading of the bill, Senator Weissman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate once again resolve itself into the Committee of the Whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Senate resolve itself Committee of the Whole for consideration of general order, second reading of bills. And Senator Weissman will take the chair.
Yep. We good?
So we're not moving the bill.
Committee will come to order. Court rule is relaxed. Mr. Schaffler, please read the title to Senate Bill 70.
Senate Bill 70 by Senators Amabile and Zamora Wilson and Representatives Zakai and Nguyen concerning prohibiting a government entity from accessing a database that stores historical location information.
Senator Zamora Wilson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, as most of you know, I served in the military for 25 years. I swore an oath to protect and defend the Constitution. And now, as a legislator, I continue to do so, and I cherish the freedoms that we have. My experiences and my background are unique, encompassing national security, economics, analytics, electronic warfare, and testing large, complex systems like satellites, fighter jets, down to the small, complex microchips. I can definitely be quite a data geek. And needless to say, when I assess the bills that come before this body, I look at them through a variety of lenses. One is verifying the constitutionality. One is assessing potential impact on national security, and another verifying if it's the role of the government in securing and protecting our rights. Regarding Senate Bill 70, this is a bill that safeguards our essential liberties from encroaching government surveillance. As Ben Franklin so wisely warned, those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. And this bill deals precisely with that trade-off. And let me be clear, I support our law enforcement. I have family members in law enforcement. I know the technology they use protects citizens and it can save lives. And I greatly appreciate their sacrifice and service. That being said, I have constituents who are concerned about the proliferation of such technology and the impacts to their privacy. We know that 10 to 15 years ago, there were hardly any cameras on our streets. And what cameras existed back then were definitely not like the smart cameras that exist now. Now there are hundreds, if not thousands, with increasing surveillance platforms on the horizon. And with AI coming on board, there's the unknown and concern about Colorado becoming a surveillance state like China. So where is the appropriate balance between enabling law enforcement to use these tools while also protecting citizens' privacy? We've met with various stakeholders, listening to their concerns, trying to troubleshoot possible unintended consequences, and striking the right balance. Under current law, the government can store this data up to 3 years, essentially building a database of people's daily routines, where we go to work, worship, shop, or visit loved ones. And the question to ask is, how frequently are our movements being captured? And is it the role of the government to collect potentially sensitive movements of law-abiding citizens? And does this infringe on our Fourth Amendment right? We know the Supreme Court has been explicitly clear, constant warrantless surveillance is unconstitutional. In the case of United States versus Jones, the Supreme Court unanimously held that the government's warrantless attachment of GPS tracking device to a vehicle and its subsequent use to monitor the vehicle's movements constitutes a search under the Fourth Amendment. This violated the owner's rights because it involved a physical trespass on private property, the vehicle itself, to obtain information. And the ruling effectively requires a warrant for such invasive tracking in most cases. And building upon this case is Carpenter versus United States. The court ruled that warrantless access to historical cell site location information, which tracks a person's movements through their phone, also violates the Fourth Amendment for similar privacy reasons, even without physical trespass. And this reinforces protections against comprehensive location tracking without judicial oversight. So now we have technology that gives real-time tracking through other means, which creates a gray area where there's brief pings of information, but not prolonged electronic monitoring that reveals detailed patterns of movements, which is akin to GPS, and which typically triggers Fourth Amendment protections. Of course, solving crimes is easier with constant surveillance, but it is not a constitutional justification. Requiring a warrant simply restores the balance between law enforcement authority and individual liberty, while preserving those clear exceptions for emergencies and legitimate public safety needs. Understand that this bill is prescriptive, not preventative. It doesn't eliminate these tools. It ensures they're used in a way that minimizes constitutional concerns. The government can still investigate suspicious activity. That doesn't change. But it can't treat all of us as potential criminals. Data collected without limits becomes power without limits. If you drove to the Capitol today, someone might already know your route, any stops you made, or even if a passenger was in your car. Imagine that power in the wrong hands, regardless of which party holds the reins. When the government can track your vehicle's history back months or years through these databases, any reasonable expectation of privacy is effectively dead. And it's not the role of the government to have a God's eye view on its citizens. This isn't a partisan issue. Protecting the Fourth Amendment is a foundational American principle that transcends party lines. Legislators in other states, red and blue alike, are considering similar reforms. Iowa, Kentucky, West Virginia, New York, Washington, and Tennessee are among them. And when I taught economics at the Air Force Academy, I often told my students that the person or a business or an organization or even a country with the most information in a market typically controls it. They gain the most power. The same holds true here. Unfettered access to our private information, our movement data in this case, hands unprecedented control of our lives to those who have access, especially those who are in a position of power, like the government. And to those who say, if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. I would respond, privacy isn't about hiding something bad, it's about protecting something profoundly good, our liberty. And there's another critical concern we cannot ignore, data security. These databases hold sensitive location information about law-abiding Americans, where we live, worship, work, and the patterns of our daily lives. Large data systems are prime target for hackers and foreign adversaries, and we've seen it happen even in our most secure military systems. In 2014, China hacked the Office of Personnel Management and compromised the personal information of 21.5 million people, including detailed history of military personnel and 5.6 million sets of fingerprints. Biometrics that can't be changed, posing a permanent risk to our special operations forces and those with security clearances. And I was one of those military members who was impacted by that breach. Understand that my district has a high percentage of military members. The movements of military members can be sensitive, and knowing that adversaries like China have proven capable infiltrating these systems, and it adds another layer of concern. We should not build centralized repositories of our citizens' movements without strong guardrails and security controls. Senate Bill 2670 provides those safeguards, ensuring that data is handled with the care it demands and that access requires judicial oversight. It creates guardrails against overreach, empowers law enforcement within constitutional bounds, and shields us all from the dangers of unchecked surveillance. And I understand that this bill is the first of its kind, and there are concerns from the opposition. I have always been open to hearing the concerns and mitigating issues. Again, the goal is to optimize a balance between equipping our law enforcement with this technology so they can enhance the safety of citizens, while also putting guardrails to protect citizens' liberty, privacy, and information. And whether you agree with this bill or not, it's absolutely necessary to have this discussion, because with AI coming on board, that brings an uncertain element to the equation. Additionally, we're seeing similar bills now being introduced at the federal level. So the concerns are not going away, and the bottom line is we need to secure both our safety and our liberty for generations to come. I hope to find an optimal path for our law enforcement and citizens. And I want to thank my co-sponsor for inviting me to join her. It's funny how we teamed up. I've thoroughly enjoyed working with you. You really worked hard to optimize this bill while also showing me the ropes. And I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Mabelé.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I also would like to thank my prime sponsor for joining this bill with me. We wouldn't have even gotten this far without you. And I would also like to say thank you to everybody out there in the lobby who supported this bill and worked so hard on it. And I really appreciate that. And we did spend a lot of time working on this policy, and all the people that got behind it, including my aide who spent tireless amounts of time pulling together endless amendments and different ideas about how we could proceed. So it is bittersweet, mostly just bitter, that this is the end of the road for this bill. We intended to put basic common sense guardrails on how license plate reader data and how it's used and protect the privacy rights of Colorado citizens. The decision to lay the bill over doesn't come lightly. On the one hand, we could have put together a watered-down bill, but many of my colleagues rejected that. We could have had a more robust bill, but that also was rejected. And at the end of the day, we've decided that we need to come back, live to fight another day, and that is what we intend to do. I pursued this bill not because I thought it would be easy, but because I knew it would be hard. But also my constituents and all of your constituents are demanding that we do something because they do not want to live in a society where their movements are constantly monitored and tracked. This camera technology is spreading like wildfire across our state and across the country. And I really appreciate what my colleague just said about maybe you say, I'm not doing anything wrong. I don't care. But you should care, because you don't have to do anything wrong to have this data be used against you in a way that you have no idea was coming. And that has happened. There have been misuses of this information, and people have been harmed. Without guardrails, we have no idea what each individual locality is doing with this data. There are no rules. It is unfettered, and it is changing the way we interact with our government in a fundamental way that needs protections. The bill faced sustained vocal opposition from law enforcement organizations, which repeatedly mischaracterized the provisions and resisted even the most basic common sense guardrails. Everyone told us, we want guardrails, but we don't want these guardrails. We want guardrails, but we don't want the things that are in the plain language of this bill. Or we want that, but we can't accept that. And then at the end of the day, and equally concerning, the executive branch said if there are warrants, a warrant requirement in this bill, it will be vetoed. Warrants are fundamental. Warrants are mentioned in the Constitution. This is not some new thing that we thought up. It is a very integral part of what we were trying to do. We have now unleashed this technology. And I also am not against law enforcement. I very much understand the good uses of this technology. But the longer we wait to put these guardrails in place, the harder it is going to be to change the behaviors that are already happening and to rein in this technology in a way that it will work for all of us. So I am deeply disappointed that we weren't able to deliver on some progress for our constituents. And I take full responsibility for where we are on myself. We did not get this policy to a place. We didn't convince all of you that this needed to be done. We didn't persuade, we didn't get it over the line, and I'm really sorry for that, and I want to apologize to all of the people who really believe that this is important, that this has to happen, and that they need us to speak for them and to act for them. So in the meantime, our failure to act here should be a wake-up call to local governments, to cities, to counties across the state, to say, please act up. Find a path to insist on guardrails in your community, and make sure that your city isn't unleashing this technology without you knowing about it and without you agreeing to it. Coloradans care about privacy and civil liberties, and I ask you to stay engaged, stay in this fight, and we will come back next year. But in the meantime, you have to pay attention to how this technology is being used in your community. You can go on a number of websites and find where all of these cameras are located. And if that isn't okay with you, you need to speak up. Next year, if we come back with a groundswell of support, we will get this policy passed. Protecting civil liberties while ensuring safety is not a contradiction. This is America. This is what we do. We strike that balance in everything we do. We'll be back, and I hope you'll all join us in the fight.
Senator Hinrichsen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you to the sponsors of this bill. To the good senator from Boulder, you have nothing to apologize for. I am extremely grateful for your efforts in this space. One of the coolest things that ever happened to my family growing up was when my dad was in a movie, sort of, not really. But he likes to say that he was, and he actually does have a credit in it. And the movie's Minority Report. And the way that that happened is that my dad was working as a technical programmer for Kawasaki Robotics. It was just an arm of Kawasaki. I mean, you take like any Japanese company and you'd be surprised at what weird different things they do. And, you know, like Yamaha, they make motorcycles and pianos. It doesn't make sense, but they're great at both somehow. And Steven Spielberg was working, putting together the film, and had a list of industrial robotics that could be used for the scene where the wrongly accused, why am I forgetting the name of the famous actor? Anyway, is running to escape through the industrial plant, and there's industrial robots that work, and he saw the name Kawasaki, and being a motorcycle guy, he said, yeah, let's see if we can reach out to those guys. And then my dad was asked to program them to do what they wanted them to do for that scene. But that actually played, you know, so we watched it as a family, and we're so excited because like this is the movie that Dad got to be a part of. And we didn't grow up in Hollywood, we grew up in Detroit. The idea of being in a movie wasn't exactly common. But that movie actually was the first thing. I was 15 when it came out, and that played an important part in instilling my respect and appreciation for civil liberties and constitutional privacy protections that we enjoy. And it is terrifying to me how similar the parallels of that dystopic future theme come into play with what we see in the way that ALPRs are used, but more importantly, how they are abused. Within the last few months, we have seen stories of authorities in other states using ALPRs, successfully using ALPRs in a targeted manner to track women who are traveling for abortion care. We have seen stories of multiple stories across the country of ALPRs used to track the romantic involvement of romantic exes, and also to track the activities of romantic interests. We have seen stories about how the U.S. Customs and Border Protection have implemented ALPRs well outside the 100-mile traditional jurisdiction to track movements of just about every American, and are using algorithmic systems to identify suspicious tracking mechanisms. There is a fairly famous case arising and still going through the system out of Texas, where an individual traveled from the Houston area to Eagle Pass, Del Rio, I forget which border town it was. It was Eagle Pass or Del Rio, on a business trip. Those are border communities, each of about 25,000 people. And then he took a scenic route back through the hill country. He was stopped by a sheriff's department in a rural county sort of between San Antonio and Austin, and ended up being detained for 12 hours. Police dogs were called out, and they gave a false positive on his car for drugs. No drugs were ever found. And it was later revealed through records requests in the court proceedings that followed that the reason that he was actually stopped was divorced of any form of probable cause whatsoever. It was because U.S. Customs and Border Protection's algorithms had flagged his travel patterns to and from the border region as being abnormal and therefore suspicious. And that was then relayed to the sheriff's office where he was pulled over. It was a stop in search of probable cause rather than probable cause with problems identified. And that happened because the federal government was spying on an American citizen and using a computer algorithm to determine ostensibly if he was guilty of a crime. What crime? To be determined. The travel pattern is suspicious, the timing is suspicious, therefore this American citizen is suspicious, and American law enforcement authorities must interrogate. That is fundamentally un-American, colleagues. In Judiciary Committee, we heard appalling testimony from a woman in Ken Carl? I think it was Ken Carl, a woman in the metro region who was charged with multiple counts of porch piracy based on ALPR data, but without ever actually putting her at the scene of the porch piracy locations at the time that it happened. This woman, thankfully, had invested in in-car camera. ostensibly because she was worried about, she wanted that, if she was ever involved in a vehicular accident, to be evidence of what had happened in that accident. But she ended up having to go back and save all of her vehicle's data. Dozens and dozens of hours, thousands of dollars to mount a legal defense to prove her innocence. And she was innocent of the crime for which she was accused and charged. I'm glad that she was able to do that. The overwhelming majority of my constituents would not have the resources to do that. And it terrifies me that they would be found guilty based on algorithmic state surveillance that presumes their guilty until proven innocent. Dozens of hours, thousands of dollars of investment to prove your innocence. Absolutely not the American way. This Senate Bill 70 is part of a package of bills dealing with surveillance and the rapid encroachment of modern surveillance into the lives of everyday Americans. And the encroachment of the police state. I'm all for, I agree with the sponsor from the Air Force Academy. Look, our police are incredible public servants. They provide a critical job, the most important role of government, public safety. I want community policing. I do not want a police state. And our failure to make meaningful progress on this area, with all 7 of the bills really between this chamber and the other chamber in this session, is, I think, a tragic failure of this body to meet the moment. So I am grateful to the sponsor from the Air Force Academy. I'm grateful to the sponsor from Boulder, and I appreciate what you have done. I look forward to seeing your continued efforts, and I wanted to rise today to express my extreme disappointment with ourselves collectively.
Senator Marchman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I, too, just want to go on record to share how disappointing it is that we are the only state in the nation who has invested mightily in ALPR without any guardrails. And the people in Colorado who drive, go to the grocery store, go to schools, go anywhere, are constantly being surveilled. The only message I hear from constituents is Colorado's too expensive, and when are we going to end the surveillance state? So I'm incredibly confused, and I'm incredibly disappointed that this body was unable to get there. I do want to say thank you to the good sponsor from Boulder and the good sponsor from Air Force Academy, of course, aim high, for bringing this bill, because I tend to agree this is a constitutional issue that we are failing Coloradans with. So I just want to share a couple of things, since this was a key bill for my community. Last summer, 9 News reported that the Loveland Police Department in Loveland, my Senate district, gave the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms and Explosives access to its block safety camera account. ATF agents then used that account to conduct searches for ICE. The searches took place in April, and Loveland insists the search was for a violent criminal and no laws were broken. but Loveland Police and the ATF have not provided any further information about the case. The officer who ran the searches is identified in records only as a period bro. So like a bro. That's what they had. We don't know the guy's full name. We don't know how many searches were run. We don't know what they found or happened to the people they looked up. And y'all, Loveland, Colorado, I don't know, I'm a teacher, but I don't know if you've looked at a map. We're kind of far from any borders. So it's pretty confusing why Loveland police were sharing information that doesn't involve any violent crime in our county. When the police chief was asked about concern, he said constantly that he was mystified about public concern. There's so much more opportunity for abuse in other systems, he said. Mystified. And those are the people who are surveilling and advancing surveillance in our communities. That is what the chief of police said when I asked, why are you sharing this data? He's mystified why it is an issue. So let me tell you what the law says. The entirety of Colorado's statutory framework governing LAPRs is a 2014 passive surveillance law that requires data to be deleted in 3 years. That's it, 3 years. No authorized purpose, no warrant, no vendor controls, no immigration prohibition, no suppression remedy, no registration requirement. We don't even know how many of these systems are deployed across our state because there is no law that requires anyone to tell us. Flock Safety has partnerships with nearly 100 Colorado police agencies and more than 160 private entities, including Homeowners Association. It operates in 75 communities, and we have written 0 laws governing what happens to the data it collects on every vehicle in those communities around the clock, every single day. We did pass Senate Bill 25276 last year, which prohibits local governments from sharing license plate data, but Loveland did it anyway. SB 25276 has no suppression remedy, no enforcement mechanism specific to ALPR. It's a prohibition with no consequence. So when my constituents ask me what we're doing to protect Colorado from the rise of surveillance technology, I can honestly tell them really nothing. We don't have the political will right now to do that. Maybe we can find people who would be willing to step up to do this. This abuse that goes on from data that's just prevalent without any guardrails has resulted in at least 14 cases nationwide of police officers abusing ALPR data to hurt people. Now, there's bad actors everywhere, guys, and I would not expect this from the communities in our state, but it is a problem when this data has no guardrails. So this bill was our attempt. I thank the good senators for really building something genuinely bipartisan and incredibly constitutionally founded. I appreciate the Judiciary Committee, really improved the bill. But friends, we've invested $5 million in public dollars through the Colorado Auto Theft Prevention Authority to expand ALPR infrastructure, and then we gave millions more through the Justice Assistance Grant and the Safer Streets program. We built a surveillance network with taxpayer money, and now we're being told the accountability structure isn't going to work. So I want to put on record that Washington State just passed the strongest ALPR statute in the country, and it passed 84-10, bipartisan, signed. It's got a warrant requirement, it's got vendor controls, it's got an explicit immigration enforcement prohibition, a provision that a positive ALPR hit alone doesn't constitute reasonable suspicion. But I want to talk to my constituents directly, and every Coloradan who drove past a flock camera on their way here today. It's surprising that we're not taking action. So I hope that we are going to come back with political will in 2027 to do what our constituents are asking for and to protect them from the surveillance state in which we live. Thank you.
Thank you. Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over Senate Bill 70 until Saturday, July 4th, Independence Day.
Members, the motion is to lay over Senate Bill 70 until July 4th. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say no. No. The ayes have it. And Senate Bill 70 will lay over until the 4th of July. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to lay over the balance of the calendar until Thursday, April the 30th.
Members, the motion is to lay over the balance of the second reading calendar until Thursday, April 30. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. The balance will lay over. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Members, the motion is to rise and report. All those in favor, please say aye. Any opposed, say no. Ayes have it. We'll rise and report.
The Senate will come to order. Senator Wiseman.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee has met and has considered a few bills. Mr. Schaffler, please read the report.
April 29, 2026, Madam President, your committee of the whole begs leave to report as had under consideration the following attached bills being the second reading thereof, makes following recommendations thereon. House Bill 1210, House Bill 1113, laid over until April 30th, 2026, and retaining their place in the calendar. Senate Bill 70, laid over until July 4th, 2026, and retaining its place in the calendar.
Senator Wiseman.
Thanks, Madam President. I move the Senate adopt the report of the committee of the whole.
The motion is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? With a vote of 34 ayes, 0 noes, 0 absent, 1 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Whoops. So HB 26-1210, HB 26-1113 laid, let's see, 1113 laid over until 4/30/2026 and retaining their place on the calendar. SB 2670 laid over until 7/4/26 and retaining its place on the calendar. Conference committee reports.
First report of the First Conference Committee on House Bill 1084. This report amends the re-revised bill. To the President of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, your First Conference Committee appointed on House Bill 1084 concerning voter transparency requirements to expand information about the funding of initiated statewide ballot measures and in connection therewith requiring the abstract of the fiscal impact statement for certain initiated statewide ballot measures to describe the measures' likely effect on the main areas of the state's expenditure has met and reports it has agreed upon the following. 1, that the House accede to Senate amendments made to the bill as amendments appear in the re-revised bill. 2, that under the authority granted to the committee to consider matters not at issue between the two houses, the following amendments be recommended. Respectfully submitted, Representative Cecilia Espinosa, Chair, Representative Sean Camacho, Representative Chris Richardson, Senator Mike Weissman, Chair, Senator William Lindstedt, Senator Byron Pelton.
Signing of bills.
President has signed Senate Joint Resolution 21.
Great. Senatorial 5. Nope. Oh, Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I give notice of intent to reconsider Senate Bill 134.
Senator Rodriguez gives notice of intent to reconsider the last action on SB 134. Has given notice of intent to reconsider the last action on Senate Bill 134. Okay, I thought I heard an objection, so, okay. Now we're in a Senatorial 5. Okay. Announcements. Senator Wiseman.
Thanks, Madam President. This is to announce the work of the Judiciary Committee this afternoon. 1:30 Old Supreme Court, we're hearing two bills, SB 177 and HB 1343. See you at 1:30.
Any further announcements? I'm sure there must be another committee or so meeting. Senator Amabile.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The Joint Budget Committee, or Madam President, sorry about that. The Joint Budget Committee is going to be meeting sometime today to consider some more bills. I don't know exactly when, but tomorrow, the Senate Committee on Appropriations will be meeting at 8:30 a.m. in LSBB, hearing Senate Bill 349, 138, 148, 165, 172, and House Bills 1109 and 1207, and any other bills that might come our way.
Thank you, Senator Kolker.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Education Committee will be hearing 4 bills today at 1:30 in Committee Room 357. We're going to change the order. We're going to start with 1078 and then go from there. So 1078, then move on down. So thank you.
Thank you. Senator Mullica.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Health and Human Services Committee will be meeting 15 minutes upon adjournment to hear the Colorado Health Facilities Authority Board of Directors and House Bill 1344 and House Bill 1235. Oh, that's some bullshit call.
Further announcements. Assistant Majority Leader Cutter.
Thank you, Madam President. The Senate Transportation and Energy Committee will be meeting at 1:30 this afternoon. Senate Committee Room 352. We'll be hearing clean transit from members of the Clean Transit Enterprise for confirmation, and also the Transportation Commission. Senate Bill 182, Senate Bill 22, House Bill 1226, House Bill 1076, Senate Bill 82, and Senate Bill 152.
Any further announcements? Majority Leader Rodriguez.
Thank you, colleagues. We will be recessing. We do not need to return, as we'll be reading bills across the desk. On that, Madam President, I move the Senate recess until 12 p.m. today.
Thank you. The motion is to recess until 12 p.m. today. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. The Senate will adjourn till noon today.